All right, we are recording this meeting. All right, good evening, everybody. We are going to be holding a nutrition talk meeting. We're scheduled once a month going forward with our new official New Wave Swim Club nutrition coach, Miss Nichole Lee. She'll go over some more of the information about herself. Some of you have met her on previous meetings that we've held like this. So it's part of our goal of having her share different topics throughout the year that might be useful as we go into summer, we go into holidays, we go into championship season. More ideas about what to do at the beginning of seasons and any other topics that we kind of come up with along the way. Even if you guys have anything specific that is of importance and need to you, you had a chance to ask questions here at the end after the presentation. Questions during, I'll be kind of in the corner quiet and looking at chats. If there's anything that needs to be addressed or anybody gets dropped or comes in late, I'll be kind of handling the behind the scenes stuff as Nichole handles the presentation itself. Again, we're recording this, and anybody who's not aware, we do have the Olympic swimming trials on TV starting at 7 o'clock. If our meeting ends close to that, you get to watch most of it. These are scheduled to be approximately an hour, but we will not try to overrun this while we have something fun to watch on TV. So if there are no initial questions, I'll turn this over to Nichole and silence my side.
Hey guys, happy Sunday night. Ross, if you see any of those comments pop up or anything, just jump in. I don't have the comment thread up on my screen. Okay, guys, so like he mentioned, some of y'all have met me through the last Zooms. My name's Nichole. I am a certified nutrition coach. I work with a handful of different types of clients, but I do work with a good bit of endurance athletes. Some guys your age, and then some adults training at a more elite level. So I'm going to bring you guys some info on how to incorporate nutrition into your training, and specifically tonight, how that changes or increases with your training. I know you're in meet season or going into meet season, so you may need to start focusing on nutrition a little bit differently while and when training ramps up. So let's get started. So for starters, we're going to look at quantity. So basically, how does the amount of food change as our training increases? We're going to look at portion sizes, and we're going to look at what that looks like as far as your meals and your snacks goes. More training means more food. You need to be eating more if you're putting out more energy. So if you know your training sessions are getting a little bit harder or a little bit longer or a little bit more frequent, you need to accommodate that as far as what you're putting in your body. It's really important. There's definitely better options versus what we may be taking with us right now. Skipping meals or under eating will stunt your growth and weaken performance. So we want to make sure, our injury prevention comes straight from our nutrition and what we're putting into our body. So just by making some small changes in your diet and how you're eating, when you're eating, and in this case, how much you're eating, can really limit some injury. If you feel in some practices you're having a hard time getting through it, or you're feeling that fatigue because maybe it's later in the day, that's all directly correlated to, did you eat enough throughout the day from the moment you woke up until what did you have right before that practice? So we're going to go through all of that. So for portions, why are we eating more? And in order to fight the fatigue, increase your energy, we need to eat more. So that comes into play as far as the length. Or the workouts getting longer? The volume, is it multiple times a day, or is it more days than normal? Are you in the pool? And then the effort, are you putting out a little bit more effort than you do typically through the rest of the year when we start looking at meets, or if states coming up and you're competing there, are you going to be trying a little bit harder? You can be pushing a little bit harder in the pool than maybe you would normally. You need to fuel accordingly. So, just like I like to look at our bodies as a car or a machine, you need to, if there's more miles in the car, you're burning more fuel. You need to keep replenishing the fuel. And we don't want to put cheap gas in our car. We want to make sure that what we're putting in is of high quality and it's going to last and burn longer. So let's look at those meals and the snacks. So we want to ultimately have three big meals: your breakfast, obviously, your lunch, your dinner, and then in your case, being teen athletes, your pre workout and your post workout are so, so, so important. And if it's something that you maybe don't think about or don't have, it's something you really, really, really need to start incorporating. It's a game changer to make sure you're putting in the right things before you start your swim and after your recovery, just even if it's the ride home before dinner, if it's something small just to get you to dinner. But we'll talk about what those things should be. So breakfast, 100% of the time you can't skip it. Even the days that maybe you aren't training, you can't skip it. That's setting the tone and the base for your day, for your metabolism, for your body. We want to get it functioning at its highest optimal level in the morning. So I know for some people, you wake up, you rush out the door. You maybe not give yourself enough time in the morning to eat breakfast. You've got to start accounting for that time. It can be as easy as a whole wheat bagel, maybe some low fat cream cheese, or some low sugar peanut butter or almond butter. If you do have the time, or your parents help out at home and you can get some scrambled eggs and some fruit and that bagel or that English muffin or some pancakes, getting a big, well rounded meal, it's really, really important. And it should be something y'all should maybe think of waking up 30 minutes earlier, waking up 15 minutes earlier, just so that we're not running out the door without eating until lunchtime. Lunch. If you were in or participated in one of my last Zoom calls, which I need to put those on the website because I don't think they're on the page yet. So we'll get those posted so you can look back at them. But we talked a lot about macros and what those are and how we need to incorporate those in our meals and in our snacks. So your macros are your protein, your carbs, and your fats. And in your three big meals, your lunch, your breakfast, and your dinner, you need to have all of those incorporated. We can't just have one or just have two. It needs to really be full and rounded so that your body can function. All of those three things are used in our body really specifically. So when you're putting out as much effort as you are towards the end of your day, it's really important that the body is getting those three things to make sure you're functioning at that high level. So after lunch and before lunch, depending on your school schedule, you may have a small snack before your lunch, or maybe a small snack after your lunch, which is great. But I just left lunch here, and that is kind of including these snacks that you have at school as well. And we're going to jump to your pre-workout snack. So this is the thing that you're going to be taking in ideally 60 to 30 minutes before you jump in that pool. You want to have something that's going to be in the body giving you your energy. And in this case, pre-workout, carbs are king. We want all the carbs. So we're talking about whole grain breads, rice, pasta. So for example, a turkey sandwich, a peanut butter and banana sandwich, some hummus and pretzels, something that's going to stick in your stomach and it's a slow burn. So we want to make sure, again, like the gas in the car, the carbs are that gas, and those are those energy pieces that will give you the energy to last and sustain in your workouts, and then also give you the energy to push a little bit harder because you have that fuel that's burning in you. And we're going to break down in the next couple of slides. Not all carbs are equal. We want to make sure we're getting the good carbs. Post workout, in this case, protein is power. Protein, protein, protein with all of my clients, regardless if they are, teen athletes like yourself, endurance triathletes, or some of my weight loss clients. Protein is something that's really, really skipped by people in general. They're not usually taking in enough. Protein is so important, especially for you guys for post workout. So the protein, so like the carbs give you the energy to get through that workout. The protein is what's going to recover you for after that workout. So something like a protein shake, a smoothie, Greek yogurt and some fruit, some string cheese, those are all great things. And now I did talk to Ross yesterday about this. I know there's a Smoothie King that's real close to y'all at the pool. And they can put out great smoothies that are great post recovery smoothies or post workout smoothies. You want to be really careful when you're ordering a smoothie from a Smoothie King or any smoothie shop. I know some of the gyms will have them. They're loaded with sneaky sugars. When you go to Smoothie King specifically, you can order it skinny, and skinny takes out the big chunk of sugar that they're adding in there. If you're getting it with fruit or it's like a milky base, you're getting enough natural sugars already. And it's sweet enough. You don't need to be adding that extra sugar, because what those sugars do, they give you that crash and burn effect. We don't want you to take that in, especially after a great workout, which is probably towards the end of your night. You don't need that extra sugar rush right before dinner or right before you get home and start homework or bedtime or whatever's going on after your practices. So just be mindful, if you are ordering from Smoothie King, order it skinny and say no turbinado. It's on the menu. You can do that. Okay, so dinner, just like your lunch, back to those 3 big macros. Other thing that we want to talk about as far as when you're making a big, well-rounded plate for teen athletes, you want half of your plate to go back to those carbs. You want those complex carbs in your plate. So going back to the portions in these meals, half of your plate should consist of a complex healthy carb. So for example, that could be brown rice, that could be whole wheat pasta, that could be a whole wheat tortilla or wrap if you're having Mexican that night. Um, some other grains like quinoa. So those are the things we want to focus on as far as your plate portions when you're looking at these big meals like your lunch and your dinner. 50% should be a carb. Okay, let's move on to our quality. So back to not putting cheap gas in our car. You want to put in the best options into your body, because again, I had mentioned we're going to go into that. Not all carbs are equal. So what we put on our body is key to our performance and how we are going to get stronger and maintain that strength. So you want to plan ahead, and you need to know this or that. What are we eating? How to read a label, how to identify if this is a healthy food or if it's really a whole good food that's going to last, get the best bang for your buck. So planning ahead is really, really important. Like I mentioned with the breakfast, if it's waking up maybe 15 extra minutes early, that's not a big amount of time, just to give yourself enough time so that you have the food available and in the body and ready to roll. Not all carbs are equal, and we'll go into that. And then the small changes make the biggest impact. So again, the breakfast, those 15 minutes, it's not a lot of time. It's not, maybe if you snooze in the morning a couple extra times, don't snooze your alarm, get up, go scramble some eggs, go put some toast in a toaster. It can be really, really, really simple stuff, but it's going to really make a difference when you start increasing that training. So planning ahead, what are you packing? So are you packing your lunch? Are you packing your snacks? Do you have to go to practice straight from school? Do you have time to go home? So you got to start looking, what do I need to put in my bag? What do I need to put in my backpack to get me ready for the next day? It can't be, if we're wanting to perform at a higher level and succeed in our meets and succeed in our practice, you've got to plan ahead. It's really important. You can't just wing it. What's the workout tomorrow? Is it different than what it was today? Go back to, how did I feel in practice yesterday? Maybe I didn't eat enough, or maybe what I had was a little too heavy on my stomach. How can I adjust? How can I plan for my next day based off of what I did yesterday? The other thing, are you hydrating? I know I mentioned hydration in one of my last presentations. It's so important if you're getting in enough water, and we can't just drink water while we're at practice or maybe just on our way to practice. You have to hydrate in advance. Our bodies need to be hydrated before we start that activity. You can't make up for it. So that's going to be super, super important. And like I said, preparation is key to your success. Going back to prepared, pack the lunch. Do you order your lunch from school? If so, look at that menu ahead of time. Plan it, maybe Tuesday is pizza day. Maybe we don't want pizza that day. Maybe that's not going to be the best thing to have in our body. Maybe that day you plan your lunch. Or, maybe The next day is grilled chicken sandwiches. Perfect. Go to town on a grilled chicken sandwich. That's great. But if you can start looking at that menu, again, plan ahead so you know what days you need to pack, what kind of groceries you need in the house, um, and if it's something that you want to buy or not, or get from school or not. Organize your snacks. When do you have time for a snack? What does that look like? Do you need to pack a little ice chest or a little lunchbox with some ice packs in it? Or is it all stuff you can just throw in your bag and it can stay dry and that's fine? So just being prepared is really, really, really key. Um, Again, going back to how did today feel versus what you're doing tomorrow in the pool. Adjust, plan accordingly. And then you must hydrate for the next day. We can't play catch up when it comes to hydration. You need me, Ross?
Yeah, just this with the prepared part, there was a question and it may be coming up later. It's more of the time frame for the post workout protein snack.
Oh, great. Sure. So you want to get that protein in within 30 minutes of finishing your workout. Great question. Um, 30 minutes is kind of the window. It can be 30 to 60, but a lot of times, and possibly in y'all's case, depending on when practice finishes, um, maybe you're going home straight to eat dinner. So which is great, but still you want to make sure you're getting that protein shake or some kind of form of a lean protein in your stomach. So there's some great products. Y'all can ask me after. I can give you some brand names and we can jot those down as far as a powder protein, which is really easy to pack with you because you can just put the powder in a little shaker thing with that you can pack and then add with to water. And you can just down that right after the pool. There are some great pre-made shakes that you can get at the grocery store in little 4-packs that you can pack and just drink that. So there's a couple different options, but 30 minutes is kind of the window. Good to move on? Okay. So put good gas in your tank. So we're going to go through these meals, through these pre-workouts and post-workouts and kind of find some better options. And maybe some of these things are things you guys do now and we can find you a better alternative. So looking at breakfast, if you like your cereal and you're eating cereal every morning, how much sugar is in that? And we're going to look at a nutrition label to point out how you can identify if something is high sugar. Are we eating donuts in the morning? Because that's probably not great. What kind of granola bars are we eating? Because a lot of times these granola bars or protein bars that are marketed as being healthy, when you flip it over and read that sugar, it's just a disguised Snickers bar. So we want to be careful about that. And again, we can't skip it. You got to have it. So here are some better options. Whole grain, low sugar cereal, brand like Kashi. They have some other brands out there. There's some great granolas that are really yummy and tasty that can get really low in sugar. Are you eating, again, going back to the donuts or some kind of baked good? Maybe switch to a whole wheat bagel with some peanut butter. Get your eggs in, some eggs, some scrambled eggs, some toast, some fruit. Maybe it's a smoothie you want to take with you on your way to school. Blend up a smoothie at the house with some fruit. You can put some spinach in there, some protein powder, some low fat milk, blend it up, some peanut butter, and you can check all your boxes and get a really big, beefy smoothie. Lunch, what are some options we may be eating right now? Pizza, any fried food. So here's the thing with things that are really greasy or really cheesy or creamy. These heavy cream dishes like mac and cheese, cheesy casseroles, a lot of the things that you'll see in cafeterias, all of that just sits in our gut and makes us feeling really sleepy. So if you ever feel that crash, maybe around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it usually has a lot to do with what you've put in your body around lunchtime. Did you start with something or did you have some French fries? Did you have something really fried and greasy? While it tastes really good in the moment, it's going to make us feel real bad maybe later, especially right before you're trying to get in that pool. So some better options. Again, like I said, check that school menu ahead of time and plan. If it's something that you know is probably not going to sit great in your stomach, or if even if it's something that we really, really like, but it's fried chicken and you've got swim practice after school, maybe skip the fried chicken and pack, a grilled chicken sandwich or a grilled chicken on a whole wheat bun with some low fat cheese, some yogurt, get some fruits, get some veggies. Again, plan ahead and pack that lunch. Go into our pre-workout, carbs, carbs, carbs. Um, Vending machine carbs are not the best carbs. We don't want Cheez-Its. We don't want Pop Tarts. We don't want Zapp's potato chips. Again, greasy, those simple carbs. I mentioned not all carbs are equal. Simple carbs like a potato chip or white rice or a white potato, mac and cheese, those are all considered simple carbs. They're transitioned into sugars real fast in our body, and they're burned out real quick. It's like putting a stick on a fire versus a log on a fire. So you want to look at complex carbs, and that's going to burn a little bit slower and give you the energy and not dissolve into sugars into our body. We want to look at that as a twig versus a log on a fire. So, let me go back to a pre-workout. So again, like a sandwich, an apple or a banana, those are two fruits that are really, really high in carbs. That would be great. Like an apple and string cheese, banana and peanut butter. All of those things would be better options. Even a bagel, going back to like a piece of whole wheat, whole grain bread, toast, bagel, English muffin, something like that would be great. Protein post workout. If you're having baked goods, again, if you're going back to the vending machine, or if we're going across the street to Smoothie King, avoid the high sugars. We don't want that crash and burn effect, especially after you've put in all this work, all this effort, and you're ramping things up. You want to optimize that workout. You don't want to know that today's workout doesn't transfer over to tomorrow. You want to make sure you're building, you're repairing that body. So better options. That pre-made shake, we'll talk about some brands at the end. A grilled chicken and maybe dip it in some hummus. Some low sugar, high protein bars. So again, we're going to go into that label. We'll teach you how to read it and how to identify high sugars versus low sugars. Dinner, similar to lunch. You want to have those whole real foods, avoid the grease, avoid heavy cheese, avoid all that butter. We want the whole grain. So again, 50% of your plate, half of that plate needs to be a whole complex. So even if you're having, spaghetti and meatballs, maybe it's a good time to maybe try having whole wheat pasta. Or they have a bunch of great pastas that are available right now that are made with chickpeas or black beans or lentils, which are just better carbs than the white pasta that we typically go for. So whole grain or protein high spaghetti, lean meat, so lean red meat or some ground turkey, low fat cheese, maybe some low fat milk, brown rice with veggies and shrimp, grilled chicken, sweet potatoes, and a salad. So those are all some options we can start looking at so you can get a really well balanced meal, get all your food groups. Going back to the slide that I posted or that we did a couple months ago, we had that build a meal worksheet where you can kind of look at, okay, what's a carb, what's a protein, what's a fat, how do I fill it in with some good fruits and veggies? It'd be a great way for you to start maybe helping your parents plan some meals for you. Okay, how to read a nutrition label. So if you've got some bars at home or some snacks at home that you think are these great healthy treats, this can be something you can use later to go check out that label. So I know there's a lot of information. I'm going to go through some of it. Some of it's just information that you can kind of glance at. The big thing that I like to look at is the 5 and 20 rule over here on the right-hand side in the middle. We typically don't look at these percent daily values down the right-hand column on a label. Those numbers can help us decide if something's high or low in something. So 5% or less is going to be considered low. 20% or more is going to be considered really high. So at a quick glance, I'm looking at 20% across from my added sugar line. So for 230 calories for this little item or whatever this label is, 20% is the added sugar. So this would be a really high added sugar. But when you look at it, it says 10 grams. 10 grams doesn't seem like a lot of sugar, right? But for this serving size and for that amount of calories, it says that it's 20%. So that's maybe not the best thing to have pre-workout or as a snack in the day. Total sugars are different than your added sugars. So if total sugars is 12, 10 of those were added, only 2 of those came from real natural sugars. So keep that in mind. We want to start avoiding those added sugars that our body doesn't know really how to process. We have that crash and burn effect. makes us feeling sleepy after we've eaten it. So that's something to really start looking at when we're looking at protein bars, granola bars, oatmeal, yogurts, all those things that are branded as really healthy. Be careful for the added sugars. And then check your ingredient list. This label doesn't have an ingredient list, but under your nutritional facts label, there's going to be an ingredient list. As it starts listing out the ingredients, it lists it from highest to lowest. So the ingredient that's at the very top, that first ingredient, is going to be what's primarily in that food item. So if you start reading a list and it says the number one, let's say it's a granola bar, a chocolate dipped chewy granola bar. If that first ingredient, or maybe the first 5 ingredients, says sugar, cane sugar, chocolate in some way, high sugar, that's going to be a crash and burn effect. We don't want to be putting that in our body when we're trying to really push ourselves in these practices. What else? We want to kind of avoid the saturated and trans fats. Total fats are fine, but really keep an eye on these saturated and trans. Those are things you're going to see in really oily products and fried things like your potato chips. Those are things you want to avoid there. Okay. So, like we said, increased training. So as these workouts start ramping up, or as you start working harder during meet season, you need more food. You need better food. It takes effort and dedication and planning. So, like I said, the smallest changes, whether that's waking up 15 minutes early, whether that's looking at the cafeteria's calendar that week or that month and circling the ones you can have, circling the ones maybe you shouldn't have, or crossing those out, and then you can plan your week. Packing your snacks to swim practice. If you have a weekend meet and you know that you've been doing really, really, really great in your practices when you have half of a turkey sandwich, then you should pack all of the things that make turkey sandwiches with you when you go away for these weekend long meets. Or when you get there, go to the grocery store, get those things that you know that your body is being successful with, whether that's banana and peanut butter, or you really like this protein shake afterwards. Plan ahead so that on those race weekends or those meet weekends, you have that there and available to you. And so you can continue optimizing on the workout and the push of the effort. If you want to win, you got to be better prepared. So that is, let me bounce back through so we get to the end here. Everything I have for tonight. So now if y'all have any questions, let them rip.
All right, so I put in the chat a little bit of Nichole's guidelines for Smoothie King. We also discussed Subway a little bit, since those are the two close ones.
Oh, right. I forgot about the Subway. So Subway also, if you guys are a go-to at Subway, I think now they have 2 different bread options as far as whole grains, multi-grain. Order that versus the plain whites. If you've never tried it, or you're thinking, I don't like it, give it a try. I think they have a honey wheat even. Try the honey wheat, take a baby step. Just try to branch out and try something that you know is going to be better for you. Don't assume you don't like it. I get that a lot with people who don't think they like whole grains or whole wheats. And then focus on a lean meat. They've got chicken breasts, they have turkey breast. If you are ordering the roast beef or the ham, let's try something different. Or if you're ordering the club or the meatball, maybe switch to a leaner meat, switch up that order. Be careful of those sauces. Is it really creamy and heavy cream? Maybe go down to a spicy mustard. Don't get the chips. You don't need the chips. It's wasteful. You don't even need those. So be really mindful of getting the whole grain, the leaner meats, which are gonna be your chicken, your turkey. Load up on veggies, be mindful of the sauce, skip the cookie and the chips, especially if this is post-workout or pre-workout. You don't need the chips in your stomach before you get in the pool. All that stuff's going to make you sink. It's all just extra dead weight. We don't need it.
There are 2 questions, and also we'll give Nichole a chance at some point to type in some of her protein recommendations for powders and pre-made oh my gosh, drinks.
Protein shake.
Yep.
Oh, and there's if anybody, I know there was I don't know if this was a question, but this was a question in the past, and I think I shared it in the past slide, but I will do it now because this is going to be a great thing to add into your recovery while you're maybe pushing a little bit harder and that volume increases. It's a supplement called BCAAs. It's a powder. You can just mix it in with your water. There's no nutritional timing as far as if you need to have it post, pre, or during. You can put it in your water bottle for maybe during practice. You can get it in some great flavors, but these branched chain amino acids are what repair your muscles and repair the fatigue of the muscle. So it works really great hand in hand with any post-workout protein that you're taking in. So we can add that to the list. If you guys want to start looking into supplements, a BCAA powder is going to be a great addition.
2 questions. Kind of on the one on the topic we're discussing is a little bit more generic question about Gatorade.
Okay.
Imagining it's the usefulness and timing of it, and when is it a effective, assistance versus
Sure. So
a crutch.
sports drinks, I advise for sports drinks when you're drinking them during. So during practice or during a meet. So if you're in between heats or that would be the perfect time for a sports drink because you can rebuild your electrolytes, get a little additional sodium. That would be a good time to maybe get a little bit of sugar. But as far as drinking them during the day or through the day, it's never in replacement of water. So you still want to be taking in plenty of water as a hydration. I like the sports drinks during or in between your workouts. If you do like to drink them during the day, in addition to your water, get the low sugar ones or the zero sugar ones. I would only suggest the ones with sugar for during training or during a meet.
Question number 2 is just about caffeine.
Caffeine. Man, I don't think you'll need it. I don't think teenagers should need caffeine. I think that if you don't have enough energy and you feel that you need caffeine, you are not eating enough carbs, period. The energy that y'all need should be coming from carbs. So if you feel a crash at the end of the day or towards the end of your school day, it's probably directly related to what you had for lunch. If you're tired before your workout, before you're getting in the pool, you have to have those carbs pre-workout. They're just like nuggets of energy. So especially if you're getting the good ones, I would avoid the caffeine for y'all for this bunch for sure. I'd focus on the complex carbs. If you don't feel a change in your energy level, then maybe we can chat. But I think at this point, focus on the complex carbs, the timing of it, and what kind of food you're having during your day, and then see where your energy levels go.
Nichole, if you want to type some protein things in now, I'll talk for a minute or two.
Where can I
Can you go, if you go down, can you see the
found
chat?
it.
Yeah.
Yep, I got it. Right.
So for everybody on this, the goal for this is for us to do a meeting like this on a regular basis. In fact, we're trying to schedule one a month. The next one we're going to do, which is technically our July meeting, will actually take place in 2 weeks, which I believe is the 27th. And that's because the following weekend's the 4th of July, and then we have back-to-back weekends of state championships already. And we just figured it was better for us to get some more information out prior to those events than to wait for afterwards. As you take some of the items and ideas from these meetings and you start to make some adjustments at home and pre and post practice and swim meets, write down your questions. So when next time, because we will make this regular, what are some of the struggles you may be having? What are the things that we're working well? What are the things that you're still not able to manage? Right now, it's easier Once you get back into school, it does get more challenging, but this is a time that you should have more time on your hands to prepare and plan and shop and cook and portion and just get everything in a good place to make some efforts into improving hydration and snacks and the 3 meals that you should be taking in. Let's see. There's a question about what protein bars are recommended. I don't know if Nichole, if you're kind of attacking that with your chats.
I didn't. So protein bars. So here's the deal with bars. There's a couple quote unquote protein bars out there that when you're looking at macro to macro, gram to gram, as far as, so I mentioned this in the chat, if some of you are looking at that, when you're looking at a protein supplement or something that is primarily protein, you don't want to be wasting. So let's talk about the protein powder, I guess, specifically first, and the protein shakes. You're taking in that protein shake specifically as you're treating it like a supplement, right? Because you want to get extra protein at this specific time, in your case, post workout, post practice. So, in addition to all the protein that you're going to be taking in during regular meals, you don't want to waste. I like to think of it as you don't like to waste anything that you could be chewing. So, in your protein powders, when you look at the grams, if you're looking at fat, carbs, and protein, it should be under 5 grams of fat and carbs, and all of it should be protein, maybe like 20 to 30 grams of protein. You don't want to look at that label and your protein supplement have 30 grams of carbs with it, because if you're getting 30 grams of carbs, you might as well eat a banana. You know what I mean? So we want to make sure when you're getting a supplement, you're supplementing something. You don't want to be wasting the other grams in that, because then you could just be eating a meal. So that's really something to look for when you're looking at the shakes and the powders. Also with the same concept goes with the bars. The bars, you're not going to find them with really low carb and really low fats, just because there's more consistency to a bar. So what is the Quest bars? I don't hate those. Here's the deal with the bars though. They're like 210 calories, which is fine. I think they're 20 grams of protein, which is fantastic. But usually a bar like that for over 200 calories, it's going to leave you kind of hungry maybe in like 45 minutes, where if you sat down and had, a piece of chicken, that may hold you over a little bit longer. So I do like I don't mind the Quest bars as an easy throw in your bag. The RX bars, I like those because you can identify all of the ingredients on there. It tells you the protein's coming from egg whites. The stickiness that keeps them together, it's coming from dates. There's fruit. It's cacao versus milk chocolate. So I like those as far as a supplementing as a snack where you're getting all your macros in there. I do like the RX bars, and the Quest are okay.
Okay.
Coach Sarah, do you have anything to add?
Oh, hi, Sarah.
You have to unmute. You know how you.
Yeah. Hi, guys. I'm currently drooling over the Olympic trials right now, but I wanted to say hi.
Hi.
How's everybody doing?
Hi.
Hey, Coach Sarah.
You're looking.
Hey,
You're
you
looking
should
a little.
turn it on.
Coach Sarah,
Well-
I'm on my dad's computer right now, and I don't know how to turn the camera on because every single time it says no camera, but there is one. Just
Oh,
know.
so
I'll
I
send you a
can't
picture
see
of
your
my
face? I'm so sorry. I'm sad.
I know. I'm sorry.
You have
guys.
my phone number.
I know. I'll text you a picture.
Okay. Perfect. Proof.
There you got a little bit of tan going on.
And I wear SPF like 100. It's pretty insane. But yeah, I guess I'm a lot more tan than I used to be. So it's fun. Yeah. I'm outside a lot.
Nice. Cool. All right.
How's everybody doing? Everybody ready for state? Eating healthy? Y'all are so energetic.
You only see like 3 faces.
I know.
Well, you see Allison's forehead and then the other 2.
All right, guys. Good to say hi.
All right, if no one has any other questions, we'll get this wrapped up so everybody can go watch TV. Olympic trial finals are on NBC, one of your main networks. They are doing replays of the prelims heats on the NBC Sports Network at like 4:30 or 5:30. So you can catch a little bit of everything. We had already American record set in the 100 breaststroke this morning by Michael Andrew. And I don't want Sarah to spoil what's on TV because I've been recording it so I can watch it after. So
Just finished the 400 IM. I won't tell you who made it.
don't say anything. Nichole, anything else?
I'm good if y'all are.
We are good. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you, Nichole, for offering this to us, and we will make this a regular thing. Again, next meeting will be in 2 weeks. Enjoy the trials. Thank you for coming. Bye, Nichole. Bye, Sarah.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Hold on, but I'm turning it off.